So today we're going to talk a little bit about how to make better decisions in your life. I've not prepared the content. I'm going to prepare the content live along with you, okay? How to make better decisions in your life. Okay? So there's going to be a three-part for this. Part number 1, part number 2, part number 3. All right? Great. So first and the most important thing, we need to understand this. All right. Very, very, very important. Let me open my learning book. Very, very, very important. Please understand this one thing. Any decision that you want to take in your life requires one thing. What do you think is that? What do you think that is that one thing that is required to make decision? Can you let me know in the chat? What is that requires decision? Focus, clarity, courage, calm mind. Yes, all of these things are definitely required. This is one thing that makes a huge difference. Clarity, intuition, goal. Yes, all of these things are a part of it. Purpose, objective. I'm still looking for that one word. Commitment, self-love, data, clarity, intention, core values. Yes, all of these things are very important. Mindset, planning. But remember this one thing. Right? Remember this one thing. Decisions requires energy. Always remember this, right? Decisions require energy. Your energy makes a huge difference when how you make better decisions in your life. How many of you have experienced this sometimes, like a mind fog, where you're tired and you're not able to make decisions? Even though you had good plan, even though you have good mindset, even though you have good clarity in your life, but when you're tired, if you see suddenly you have so much information in your mind is tired, there's no energy, and then you're not able to make decisions. You go blank. Suddenly you go blank. Right? Why is it happening? Because lack of energy. You have put your energy into so many things in your life that right now you don't have energy to make critical decisions in your life. So energy is very, very, very important when it comes to making making decisions. So I'm going to talk about 3 things today. Okay, this is something that I've learned from my mentor Siddhart Rajshekhar, also by this person called as Sam Owens. He is a consultancy guru. If you all follow, how many of you know Sam Owens? Anybody has heard about Sam Owens? If you're into consultancy and stuff, you would have heard about it. Okay, his name is Sam Owens. He's mainly into consulting and stuff. So very powerful coach. So how to make better decisions? First and the most important thing, you need to reduce your load. Okay. So what do you mean by reducing your load? What do you mean by reducing your load? So a lot of time we have so much going on in our mind, right? The first thing, we need to reduce the load that we're putting in our mind. We're taking so much responsibility, so much things is happening in our mind. For you to get that kind of a sharp decision-making skills or a critical thinking decision-making skills, firstly, you need to learn to reduce the load. How do you reduce your load in your life? How do you reduce your load? Is first and the most important thing. You reduce your load by making less decisions. By making less decisions. A lot of time, we end up wasting our decision-making skills on small things. Like what to eat today, what to eat in the morning, what to eat in the night, what dress to wear, what clothes to wear. Yes or no? We're confused in these small things of life, where that itself is tiring us. How will you make better, bigger decisions in our life? Right? These are all silly little things that we are spending a lot of time into. What will I wear today? What will I eat today? Right? What show will I watch today? It's very important to learn to make lesser decisions in your life. How do you make lesser decisions in your life? How do you make lesser decisions in your life? Very simple, right? By sticking to what I call this as minimalistic lifestyle. Okay, living with the minimalistic lifestyle. What do you mean by minimalistic lifestyle? Is having lesser choices in your life. If you actually notice right now, I'm working towards that minimalistic. Like If you see, I have very plain clothes right now, right? Very simple, plain clothes I wear. I don't have too many choices of colorful clothes, very subtle clothes. If you see successful people, they do this. They have like simple clothes in their wardrobe, very minimum clothes, very good quality clothes, but minimum color clothes, so that they don't confuse. Okay, they know, they just take something from their wardrobe and they wear. So they don't waste their time thinking about what I should wear today, what I should eat today, right? So it's very, very, very important to have a minimalistic, like uh, simple things, like same thing, like what to dress today, what to eat today. Your basic decisions that you make on a daily basis should have a minimalistic lifestyle. Not too many choices that you have, that you feel confused. So reduce your choices that you're making, whatever that is. It can be what you eat. Have a preset plan for a week, that this morning, Sunday, I'm going to eat this, Monday, I'm going to. So what happens during your week, you're reducing your decision on small things, right? So it's very important to have a minimalistic lifestyle. Minimalistic lifestyle. All right. See, Ranveer Singh and all is different. Those people are like celebrities, movie stars. They have a different lifestyle, right? We are not celebrities. We are not movie stars. We are normal human beings, right? We are working. We are working professionals, entrepreneurs, and stuff. Celebrities are very different. They earn money, just endorsing something. Yes, definitely. If you have that kind of a lifestyle, why not go ahead, right? You were your celebrity and you're endorsing, doing movies. That's different. Correct? See, I'm not saying you don't need to groom. You're not getting my point, Kinjal. I'm not saying don't groom, right? But have quality stuff and simple stuff. That's what I'm saying, right? For grooming also, you need to have like a fixed thing. Not like every day you end up thinking, oh, which lipstick will I wear? Which eyeliner will I wear? You're confused in those small decisions of your life. How will you make bigger decisions for your career, for your growth, for your money? If you end up putting a lot, because remember, decisions require energy, right? If you're drained in these small things, when it comes to bigger decisions, your mind fog will happen. That is what I'm trying to say. I'm not saying don't dress up, don't do makeup, do all of that. Definitely it's important, but make it simple. Don't complicate that process. These daily things that we do, simplify it. Have lesser choices. All right. Yes. See, we think so much about some people are like this. For breakfast itself, we think so much and we get confused with this small little decision of life. What we eat in the morning, we are confused so many times in the morning, right? When you want to go to a restaurant, we're confused. We want to watch a series, we are taking our Google and we're checking which series to watch, and you're confused. Yes or no? Small things, it's putting so much pressure on our head. How will we make that? There itself our energy is getting drained. So it's very important to simplify. Have less things. Have less things in your house. Whatever is required, keep. Clothes, whatever is required, clean. If you don't need, if you're not using any clothes, throw it or put it in a box and keep it somewhere. The things that you do on like an analysis of your house and stuff, lifestyle that you're leading. See if any of the things are there which are not even using it, just lying over there. Put them in a box, either charity, give charity, or keep it somewhere in a room where it's not useful. Right? So it is somewhere you need to simplify it, Remy. You have to simplify it. Right? You have to simplify your menu. This is what we have done in our family. We have like a set menu that we follow on a weekly basis. It's simplified. We know Monday what the cook needs to cook, night what needs to happen, breakfast what needs to happen. Very simple, right? So that way it's very easy. So you all need to come to a conclusion that that's your skill, that you need to talk to your family, and where everybody gets everything on a weekly basis. It's not like every day you have different choices. You have to stick to it. You need to bring that discipline where whatever your family likes, include that in a weekly basis, not on a daily basis. So you have to somehow bring that into things. Very important. All right. So learn to simplify your life, make lesser decisions in your life. Very, very, very important. And next and the most important thing is learn to do less. what do you mean by learn to do less? Is basically learning to say no more than yes. Remember this. Lot of time we end up saying yes, 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 yes to everything, right? That we do a lot of things in our life. We end up taking a lot of things in our life. You have to learn to say more no than more yes. Remember this, right? You need to learn to say. That is how you reduce the load. The more you say yes, 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 yes for everything in your life, it may be your family, it can be your clients, it can be your, you have to learn to say no to people in a very smart way, right? You need to learn to, I'll take doubts at the end. Please ask me doubts at the end. Okay. Do not ask me anything in between. I don't want to break the flow. I will give you a Q&A at the end, 10-15 minutes. I'll give you a Q&A. So please ask me at the end any questions that you have. Okay. So most important thing is learn to say no. Like, for example, how can you learn to say no? It can be when people are saying, I usually say these things. Okay. When people ask you for something, I tell them, okay, give me 15-20 minutes. I'll get back to you. I'll do an analysis. Is it possible for me? You don't have to say immediately no. What you mean by no is whenever somebody is asking, you just tell them, okay, understand, or thank them. I thank you for, you're coming to me for this. Just give me 15-20 minutes or 30 minutes. I'll get back to you. And then you do an analysis, see if that is going to be possible for, or is going to add more load into you, and then get back to them and say, see, this is what is happening. All right, this is what has been happening, and this is my load. This is what I have assigned. This is the work I have. I don't think so I'll be able to manage it within. You have to learn to say no, or else people will take you for granted. Your managers, who are there, they'll take you for granted, and then you'll feel overwhelmed. Then you'll end up blaming them. Then once you start blaming, criticizing, complaining, the energy itself got destroyed. Again, your decision-making skills will come down. Energy is low, poor decisions you make. Right? So learn to say no. Very, very, very important. You have to learn to say no. Okay. And the last and the most important thing to reduce load is limit your inputs. Limit your inputs. Okay. How do you limit your inputs? What are the kind of different inputs that we have? For example, less social media, right? Less all unwanted things. You need to limit. Input is what basically the data, right? The data that you're putting in your mind, you need to limit it so that you're not overloaded by information. A lot of time you're too stuck in a mobile phone. What happens? How many of you observe this? You're too much in a mobile phone. When sudden decision we want to make, we're not able to make it. Yes? Anybody has experienced this? You're using a lot of your mobile phone. Suddenly, your manager or your parents, they ask you to do something. Suddenly, for some moment, you're like stuck what to do. Because what is happening? There's overload of information. There's so many inputs that we have put already that we can't process it. So the input-output ratio is not matching. So it's very important to limit your input. Input in a sense, same thing. It's not only about what you're putting inside you needs to be reduced. It can be food. It also can be food. If actually see, if you eat too much, again, your decision-making skills, again, energy becomes low, right? So see what inputs that you're putting in your mind, in your body is not supporting you. It can be, again, the series that you watch, the people that you interact with, the news media that you watch, the food that you eat. So you need to reduce it and limit it to what is actually required. Not randomly scrolling through things, watching movies, watching series without even that making sense. Right? So it's very, 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 very important to reduce your inputs, limit your inputs. Become aware of what are you watching, become aware of whom are you talking to, become aware of, what food are you putting in your body. Very important to, I'll share with you what are the inputs that we do. It can be the information coming through social media. It can be news plus other media like Netflix and stuff. It can be the food that you intake, limited. The people that you surround, people that you meet, right? You don't have to meet a lot of people, but whoever you're meeting, make sure you're aware that they're positive minded, they talk good things and not always complaining, cribbing, that you put a lot of unwanted things. It's very important to limit your input, and whatever input that you're putting has to be positive. Remember this, has to be positive. So this is how you reduce your load. The first and the most important thing before you make better decisions is you need to reduce the load that you're putting in your life, putting in your mind. By making lesser decisions, having a minimalistic lifestyle, do less, basically do less by learning to say more, no more than yes. Okay, you need to learn how to say. You need to be smart in saying no to people. Do your research. There are books in this. There are videos in this on how to say no to people. Right? Practice those things. Practice. The more you practice, the more easy it becomes. Everything is a learnable skill. Remember this. But first, in your mind, you need to believe that it is possible. I can do it. I can achieve it. So have affirmations. Anything that is blocking you from doing in your life, the problem is not outside. The problem is your belief. You change that belief, then change will happen. If you feel it's hard to say no to people, it's difficult to say no to manager, for you in your mind only you're blocking things. First, believe that it is possible. I can learn. I can learn that skill. Are you getting my point? If you're getting my point, send me yes in the chat. First, believe that it is possible. Aren't there people who are good in saying no to people? Yes, no? There are people, right? So first, they believe that it is possible and they practice it. It doesn't come naturally. You have to practice it. Right? Once you practice it, then it becomes easy. But belief has to be there. Yes, it is possible. I can learn it. Maybe now I don't know, but I can learn it. I can be better at it. At least have that kind of a belief. Then your mind will also learn. All right. So so learn to say less and then limit your inputs. Okay. Limit your inputs. Very, very, very important. Next comes the second and the most important thing is think critically. Think critically. All right. Whenever you're making decisions, you need to, only when you reduce your load, you'll be able to think critically, right? Because it requires energy to think critically. And don't end up making decisions in a hurry. Always take your time when you want to make decisions. All right, take your time. Don't do decisions in a rush. If anybody is forcing you for making decisions, tell them I need your time. Right? You have to take that authority in your hand. So what do you need to do for that? What do you need to do? Like first, you need to do your own analysis. All right, do your own analysis. Very, very, very important. Anything, for example, you want to buy a car, right? Or you want to buy a home, or you want to change your job, whatever that is, right? Don't listen completely to people. Yes, taking feedback from other people is important, but the first and the most important thing, you have to do your analysis. Do not copy and paste what other people are doing. This is what we have been taught growing up. See what he is doing, do that. Right? See, your uncle is an engineer, you also become an engineer. Our family is full of doctors, you also become a doctor. Right? This is what has helped me. Whatever I'm saying, I want you to do your own analysis. Don't listen blindly to me. I'm going to be very frank with you. Right? I do my research and then I share it with you, but you also need to do your research. Any strategies, meditation, okay, do your research. Don't believe me. Morning routines, okay, do your research. Do your analysis. Do your analysis. So it's very, very, very important to spend some time. I'm not saying that end up analyzing so much that you paralyze yourself. That's also a problem. Like I always say, too much analysis is paralysis also. Right? That you end up not taking action. Analysis is required how much ever it is required to get some kind of an information, not overthinking. You need to get some facts. So you need to analyze, okay, I'm buying a car, okay. Do an analysis of facts. Okay, how much is the money? How much is the mileage? So you need to go on facts. So very, very, very important to go into analyzing yourself. Do not copy other people that, oh, somebody bought Kia car, I should also buy that. Somebody says, oh, this car is good. No, okay. Thank you for your feedback. Let me do my analysis. Do your own analysis. Very, very, very important. Second most important thing, asking constructive questions. Asking constructive questions. Right? What are some constructive questions? Why is this important? What will happen if I do these decisions? Right? How, what, why, how? How will this change my life? How will it impact my life? What is my responsibility? Why is it important for me? Right? You can ask what, why, how, whom. Whom also you can ask. Whom will it impact? Who is affected by this? Or who is affected by this? Right? So you need to ask constructive questions. You need to ask constructive questions. Very, very, very important. When there's a decision, for example, say a decision of, say a job. Okay, a job offer comes to you. So you can ask, okay, why is this important for me right now? What will happen if I take this job? Right? How it will change my life? In a good way or a bad way? Right? Who will it impact? Will it impact the company? Will it impact me? Will it impact the new company? So ask constructive questions. Very, very, very important. Once you do an analysis, learn to ask constructive questions. What, why, who, how? All right. The more you ask constructive questions, the more you get answers and the more clarity comes. Very, very, very important to ask constructive questions. All right. The next one is, which we always do in our community, is using your, what do you think of this? Core? What is the word? Using your core? Core what? Yes. Values. Right? If you have not found your core values, you will learn to find your core values in the program that we're going to do. A lot of you all have know your core values. Some of you all have not started your the 12-week program. You will learn to find your core values. Once you have your core values, see if it's matching with your core values. Very, very, very important. Your decisions should match your core values. Core values are a very, very powerful way of thinking in a critical manner. You have your 6 core values, simple. This is a decision. Okay, if I take the decision, core value 1, how will it support me? Yes or no? Core value 2, yes or no? So it's very, very, very important to have your core values. Your 6 core values are very important. If you've not found your core values, again, you can go through the 2XP growth program. In that, I help you how to find your core values. Right? So core values are very, very, very important. The simplest way to critically think regarding your decisions, whether it's good or bad, right or wrong, is your core values. So learn to use your core values. Always have your core values in your mind. If you have any given moment, when there's a decision that you need to take, your core values need to be in your mind. Is it supporting your values or not? Because at the end, values brings us happiness. The more better decisions that we make that brings us happiness, the more we grow. Right? The more bad decisions we make, the more we feel bad about ourselves, the more we, again, guilt comes, regret comes, and then we fall into that trap. So never leave your core values, no matter for people. This is a mistake that we do a lot of time, no? None of you experience this, especially in our relationships. We let go of your core values. Yes, we let go of our core values, and then we say, "Arey, yaar, it's okay. That is my friend. That is my partner. That is my parents. It's okay. Chalega." And then what happens after a particular time? We feel disappointed. We feel sad, and blaming, complaining, criticizing because we're not stuck to our core values. Don't go against yourself. That's the biggest mistake that you'll make. No matter for anybody. Don't go against yourself. You are somebody whom you spend your entire life with. If you're going against yourself, right? How will you even live your life? Like there'll be a conflict of action between you, a conflict of mind, conflict of emotions. That will affect everything in your life. So please understand your core values are very, very, very important. Please stick to your core values. All right. And the last thing is try to look at your decision patterns. So we all have patterns. We all make decisions depending on certain, basically, there are triggers. Right? See our decision pattern. Go back to your past. Do an analysis. Okay, in my past, how did I make decisions? Was it a good decision? Was it a bad decision? So you need to understand your decision patterns. Right? Am I a good decision maker or not? Okay, what makes me make good decisions? What doesn't make me make good decisions? So you need to understand your own patterns. Right? If you have to give an example of this, it can be, simple. You have to look into your eyes, and today maybe I'll give an assignment today to go back to your past, and then you can ask yourself, what is that one decision I made which helped me, which changed my life? One decision of my life which reduced my growth, and go back and analyze that decision if possible. One decision of your life which you made in the past, which has supported you, which has given you better results. What is that one decision of your life which has mine one decision which I was to my pattern. One thing is that usually when it comes to attending workshops, attending sessions, mine, okay, when I want to, I take immediate decisions. I have that habit that when I like a coach, I make sure I invest a lot of my money into learning from that coach, which sometimes can be bad, which my wife always says that, don't hurry in these things, right? Don't hurry in these things. It's very, very, very important. So that is my impulsive decision. Sometimes it comes. So see if you're an impulsive decision maker when it comes to shopping, right? Sometimes even in shopping, we have very impulsive decisions. We buy things and then we end up, is this some impulsive decisions that you make when it comes to shopping things? Or it can be food. It can be related to food. What are your decision patterns? Understand your decision patterns. When these small things teaches you a lot of things to understand yourself. What is my decision patterns? All right. So it's very, very, very important to look into your own life patterns of how are you making decisions in your life? How are you making decisions in your life? All right. The second and most important thing is critical thinking. Critical thinking. All right. Critical thinking is very, very, firstly, do your analysis, ask constructive questions, use core values, and look at your decision patterns. Look at your decision pattern. Look at your decision pattern. Look at your past and see how are your decisions helped you, supported you. All right. Very, very, very important. Third one, the last and the most important thing is apply action. Correct? We have to take that action. No, only then the results will come. You have to apply action. So what is the first thing for applying that action? First, you need to define, somebody said when I asked you, define a goal or an outcome. Right? You need to define a goal or an outcome. You need to have a goal, a structured, quantified goal. And it has to have a deadline. A quantified means usually we do it in incred process. Right? In last week, it is discussed in the hackathon, the incred process. You have to have a structured. What do you mean by that? It should be quantified. That means it should have a number. Okay, I'm going to do it. I want so and so. I'm going to do it in 1 week. I'm going to do it 10 days, or, I want 10 customers. I want 100 customers. So what is this? So it has to be either quantified. It needs to have a deadline, right? It needs to have it needs to be specific, structured. It should be very, very structured. Should not be vague. It shall be well defined. Okay, you need to have an action plan when you're taking a decision. Okay, I'm gonna get a job by December 2023, and I'm gonna apply for in this next 6 months or 3 months. I'm gonna apply for 10 companies. I'm gonna give 10 interviews. So I want a salary package of X amount. So you need to be very specific in your mind when you have a goal. It should be number, quantified, and stuff. All right, that's the first thing. The second thing is think long term. Very, very, very important. Think long term. Always remember when you're making decisions, think long term. Or you can also do is another way of think backward. Think long term. Long term in a sense doesn't mean that 1 year or two. 1 year or two. Long term is always 5 to 10 years. That is long term for me. When you're making a decision, right? Ask yourself, how will it support me 5 years, 10 years down the line? For example, see, eating a salad, short term, it can be very not so enjoyable. Correct? One decision of you every day eating a salad, short term, it might not be beneficial, but 2 years, 3 years down the line, 5 years down the line, it can be huge impactful. Correct? So it's very, very, very important. So, there's a formula which you can use. For example, it says that's 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, or 5, 5, 10, 10, 10, 10, right? So whenever you're making a decision, ask yourself, okay, how will I feel in the next 10 minutes? How will I feel in the next 10 hours? How will I feel in the next 10 months? How will I feel in the next 10 years? For example, okay, you don't go to gym. 10 minutes down the line, you'll feel good. I'm not going to the gym. Maybe you're wasting your time, social media. 10 hours down the line also, maybe you're feeling good. 10 days down the line, okay, maybe a little bit. 10 months down the line, your energy is down. 10 years down the line, that decision is going to destroy your life of you not doing exercise. Right? Same way, say example, you're smoking. Okay, I want to smoke right now. 10 minutes down the line, I'll feel good. Right? 10 days down the line, nothing is going to happen. 10 months down the line, something will happen. 10 years down the line, it will destroy your life. Same, doing good things. Meditation. 10 minutes down the line, maybe you not feel good in anything. 10 days also, you might not feel anything good. Right? 10 months down the line, yes, it will start making a difference in your life if you meditate every day. 10 years down the line, it will make a huge impact. Same thing, reading a book. 10 minutes, it might not do anything. 10 days, it might not make a huge difference. Right? Ask yourself these questions. 10 months down the line, yes, it will start making a difference if I read every day. It will help my growth, career. 10 years down the line, it will make a huge impact. So please follow this 10-10-10-10 formula. Ask yourself. Very important to stick to long term. Do things that will think in long term. Okay, 10 years down the line, how will this help me? Or 5 to 10 years down the line, how will this help me? Very, very, very important. All right. So think long term or think backward also. Think backward means, okay, 10 years, this is what I want in the next 10 years. Think backward. Okay, how will it affect me throughout that 10 years? That is where you think backward. Okay. Next one is, what is I've written is understand consequences and risk patterns. So any decision that you make, there will be consequences, right? There will be risks. So you need to understand what are the consequences of you taking the decisions. You have to make there will be some sacrifices that you need to make, right? There will be certain risks that you need to take, especially when it comes to bigger decisions. Maybe you're starting a business, right? You need to understand all these consequences, challenges. It can be consequences, challenges, and risks involved. It's very, very, very important. We do this in the 2XP growth program also. Once you set goals, we help you identify what are the challenges, what are the consequences, what are the risks involved. Very important to understand, because there will be challenges will come, problems will come, risks will be involved, right? That is the nature of life. So you need to understand, okay, once I think long term, once I make a goal, what will be the challenges that will come in this? You're taking a new job. Okay, definitely it's good. It's supporting your long term, but what might be the challenges that will come in the new job? Become aware of it well in advance, so that when that challenge comes, you know what to do. A lot of us, we go blindly, we take a decision and we go blindly into things. And then when a challenge comes, we get stuck because we are not planned it well in advance. So it's very, very, very important to understand your challenges, and understand the risk involved. And the last and the most important thing is, okay, this is it. This is the third thing. The last and the most important thing which I want to share with you is, remember this one thing, okay? Make decisions that has higher input to output ratio. What do we mean by this? That in less amount of input, a decision that I make, a less amount of input, how much better output can I get? Very simple example, reading a book. It's going to take you 10 to 15 minutes to read a book. Less input. But on a long term, what is the output? Huge. You can get one book can change your life. Right? It can give you 10, 100 times results in your life. So make sure you make decisions in your life which has better output. A morning routine. It may take you 30, 40, 45 minutes in a day to follow a morning routine. But what is the support of the morning routine? Throughout your day for the next 10 hours, you are more productive. So that 1 hour of effort in the morning is given you 10 hours of productivity. Right? So the input to output ratio has to be big. It should not be less. It should not be equal also. Even if input and output is equal, that is also a failure. It's called as law of diminishing something is called as, no? The more, it should always be more. Your input to output ratio should always be more. So very, very, very important to identify things that is with less input is giving me more output.